Many of you know Engine Pro as the place to go when you need engine parts for that engine build. But today we're very pleased to announce that the Engine Pro organization and the AM Group have formed the Engine Pro program. Along with our supplier partners, we're building a program that's designed to help you as a local shop. The AM Group is a leader in the automotive aftermarket in building services and resources for local shops, and we're very pleased to add machine shops and engine builders to our portfolio. The Engine Pro program is designed not only to help you build engines, but also to build your business. One of the things we're going to do is build a new cataloging experience for you. We know it's important that you be able to find the parts you need quickly and accurately for those engine builds. So we're going to build a new cataloging experience as well as help you find parts on the national level that you need to finish those engines. We believe that education is an important part of how you build your own experience, your own capabilities, as well as that of young people coming into your team. The AM Group has been a partner of Rottler and the Engine Performance Expo for 3 years. We're going to build on that capability and our experience here to build new resources for you in terms of understanding what's available in the marketplace, new products, as well as building skills. We also believe that marketing your business is a very important part of what you do. But shops tell us that they don't have the time and they don't have the skills, and we understand. So we built a suite of resources and services that are available to you at no charge that will help you tell your community what you do and identify that you are there and make your business more findable. Beyond that, there'll be savings. Our credit card program, Aftermarket Payments, is fantastic. We have a program with Skechers where we'll be able to give you 30% off retail when you buy Skechers work shoes online. We have hotel discounts, car rental discounts, and many more things that will be offered in the program. This program is built around one thing. We want to be your partner in success. We want to see local shops succeed. To learn more about the Engine Pro program, go to enginepro.com/program.
Engine Pro is excited to announce Aftermarket Payments, the card and payments processing program built by this industry to save shops money. Card payment processing is an important part of your business, but if you feel like you're paying too much, well, chances are you are. AAM, the group behind the Engine Pro program, built Aftermarket Payments just for shops and installers of automotive aftermarket services. We've used our group purchasing volume to cut fees, and we've created a clean, simple program designed to give you the best in services at the lowest cost to you. Want a really easy card program to use and understand? Our standard program offers qualifying shops 2.5% plus 10-cent transaction fees on card-present transactions and lots of no's. No startup fees, no PCI fee, no equipment fee, no authorization fees, no monthly fees, no annual fees, and no fees other than your transactions. Plus, you get the very best Equinox equipment, next-day deposits, and fantastic service from PayJunction. Perhaps you want to consider cash discounting. We're finding that more and more shops wish to pass the cost of accepting cards to the customer. Aftermarket Payments has the absolute lowest cost cash discounting program available. This program option offers qualifying shops 3% plus 10-cent transaction fees on card-present transactions and all of the same no's and great benefits of the standard plan. With cash discounting, your customers pay the 3% credit card fees and you just pay the 10 cents transaction fee. Imagine that, a program where every card-present sale costs you just 10 cents. And of course, we have options that support e-commerce sales too. Want to learn more? Go to aftermarketpayments.com.
Hey folks, Blake Speed Jr. here at EFI University. And you know, one of the cool tools we like to use to investigate the health of the engine, because you know it's pretty easy just to feel confident that the motor's running great as long as it was making good power and seems to be running fine. But you know us, we like to dig a little bit deeper. That's why we like to do things like used oil analysis. You know, you can do that health check of the engine by taking that blood sample, if you will. You know, motor oil is the lifeblood of your engine, and just like you go to the doctor and get a checkup and they draw your blood and they run the analysis on your blood to check your health, we can do the same thing with the engine oil. Of course, we can also do something like a leak down check or a compression check to kind of see the health of that cylinder. But there's other areas in the engine that you might want to visually see what's going on, so they can give you a better picture, right? So you can take all of these tools and add it together to get the clarity of understanding what's actually happening inside that engine. And sometimes it's maybe just for confidence, so you know what's going on, or it can be for problem solving. So one of the great tools for problem solving and investigation is a Borescope. Now this is one that I really like because it's a Bluetooth one to your phone. All right, so you can see, right, whatever I'm showing here is what you see with the Borescope. So what we're going to do is, hey, we're going to look at this little engine here and kind of give you a couple examples of how you can use this Borescope. One of the other things I like about this one is not only does it set up, take a picture, but it can also record a video. So if you need to, you could take a video of what you're seeing in the engine and then send it to somebody else so they can see. Because it's awful difficult sometimes to communicate these things with words. When, hey, what's that old saying? A picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, I think a video might be worth 10,000 words. So here, let's see what we can find looking inside this Hammerhead Hemi LS. So you heard me right? This is a Hammerhead head, so it's a Hemi style head for an LS. So one of the things we can do is look right down the exhaust port. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to hit record on the phone. That way it's recording what we're showing you. Hey, you can see myself right there. Then we can do is we can go down this port. All right, we can see what's going on. Now, one of the other things you have on this is the ability to change the light. So right now the light's off. I can turn that up and I can turn my light on. That way I get better visibility. So I can go right down this port. I can look inside. There's my valve. Intake valve looking good. Now let's go around the back side and let's peek in the exhaust port. All right, we can go up that exhaust port, and that's a way you can kind of see, hey, what's going on with my valve job, right? Have any oil in here or anything else? And other thing, if the valve is open, guess what? I can go down into the cylinder, and I can see what's going on. In this case, here, they can go up the cylinder from the bottom, and we can see what's going on inside that cylinder. I can look at my valves from the bottom. It's kind of cool to see that. And you can even see the cylinder bore. You can even see the crosshatch in the cylinder bore. So that's a way to inspect the cylinder bore and see what's going on. The other handy thing for this, like I said, not just cylinder bores and things like that. I can also go in here and look at my cam bearings. Right, because you know that first cam bearing, you can see that one pretty easy. What about that last one down there, one of those middle ones? Well, here's an easy way to feed in this camera and then take a look and see, hey, what's going on with that cam bearing? You know, how's it looking? All right, I can see there's any big chunks missing, anything like that. And then I can also check that appearance. All right, is the coating wearing off? Is there any kind of scuffing, anything going on? So again, it's a really handy tool to see things, and it's very flexible too, right? So I want to change the angle on it. I can change it like that, go right back in, and now I can see down on that surface even better. All right, so there's a great look right there at that bearing surface, looking good. Right, I can go check another bearing right here. How's that one look? It's looking great. So again, these are just a pretty handy dandy tool that you can use to basically look around about anything inside the engine to get that visual inspection, to kind of marry that visual inspection up with the oil analysis, compare that with the compression or leak down test. All those points of data create that more clear, better picture of the health of your engine. That way you can either have the confidence to know, I can go to the racetrack with this engine, I can go on this drive, I can go do whatever I want to try to accomplish, I can do that, or wait, do I need to take corrective action beforehand? So inspection tools, Borescopes are a great one, leak down testing, oil analysis, all of these are the tools that are easily available at your disposal, and they all cost less than $100 to do, and they can give you lots of great information. So hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.
YouTube. Put your comments in the chat section, by the way, guys. There's going to be some opportunity for some Q&A. We see your comments right here. And, of course, share the show. Click the bell. We got Ben. We got Lake. And this is something that is so interesting to me we're about to get into because, oil analysis, right?
Yes.
That is in your wheelhouse.
That is.
But you've educated us over the past couple of years about it. That you can find out what's going on inside your engine long before maybe you find out in the worst possible way.
Oh, exactly. We've already gone through a couple of videos now where we've done a Borescope on the engine. We've done the leak down test on the engine. Because we're trying to see, is the engine okay? And that's a lot of work because the engine's got to come out of the car. You got to take it all apart and you got to do all that. Man, wouldn't it just be a whole lot easier to be able to know without doing all that?
If we could x-ray the engine, right?
Right.
And so, Joe, I loved it right before we started. You're like, oh, oil analysis is one of my favorite things. I know a little bit about this one, and it's one of those things where it's like, the oil analysis is such an easy thing to do, and it's a shame more people don't do it, but it's a way that you get to x-ray the engine. Let me see what's going on inside without taking it all apart and tearing it up,
Right.
So I guess we walk through, where does it start? You sample.
Well, yeah, you take the sample bottle, right? And it's pretty much easy if you have the engine running, and it's always best to have the engine warmed up. In fact, when you get one of the oil analysis kits, there's going to be an instruction sheet that tells you what to do. It's really simple. It's one sheet of paper, written in English.
So let's make it real clear. Why do we care that I just finished running the engine? Why can't I come back after a month and sample my oil?
Well, you want to be representative because if all the wear metals have settled to the bottom of the oil pan, and let's say you take a sample this straight from the bottom of the oil pan, well, it might give you a false positive. It could be too high than what it really is.
We want all that mixed together and be real sample. You might have dirt that's been, you're out on the Baja 500 or something, and you've been sucking dirt through the seals. Well, if all that sits on the bottom and you do your oil sample, you go, oh, it looks great. But it might not be what you actually have in there.
Right. You want to be representative. So by running the engine, getting it warmed up, taking a representative sample, now the cool part is this then goes to the lab. Then the lab does all the really fun stuff. Really one of the coolest things about oil analysis is one of the tests to do the wear metals, we literally burn the oil.
Oh, really? That's pretty cool.
It's like you burn it in a plasma. And because when it incinerates everything in it, the base oil, all the additives, all the wear metals, each of them emit their own spectrum of light.
Aha.
So a spectrometer is actually reading all of that wavelengths of light, each individual one, the intensity of it. Then we can know what's going on. Because literally, take these little pieces right here. So you got one that's like a brass bronze material. You got this DLC coated material, and you've got this steel material. Well, it will actually see the wear of each individual material because this is going to have some copper in it, where this one doesn't. And because this one being DLC carbon coated, you won't see iron or copper in it, but you could see other things. So
I always thought it was cool that when you get your report, you see all these individual metals, and I wondered, how do they separate them out? How do they know that? Well, it makes sense. You literally separate them all, and you look at them under the light, and you can see which one's which.
And you burn it, they spit all the different wavelengths lights come out, and you can see it. So we measure things like viscosity, we measure fuel dilution, and that was when we did this same segment last year when we built the Engine Performance Expo LS. We knew that we had chose the wrong fuel, and guess what? Pretty much sure right off the bat, we had 3.5% fuel dilution because that fuel wasn't the right distillation curve for the temperature we were running it. But then once we went to the correct fuel, it corrected itself.
So that's interesting because another thing that you do when you fill out the form to do your oil analysis is tell me, what kind of oil it was, what sort of engine is this, but also how long has this oil been running? Right. So if you saw a bunch of fuel dilution and the guy said, well, the engine only did, half an hour on my dyno, you'd go, you might need to look at your tune-up or your fuel choice, right? So the oil analysis is so much more than just, is my engine blown up? You know what I mean? You can learn so much more about what's happened to that engine if you also know application, environment, running temperature, that kind of stuff. So it's important when you take your sample that you also fill in all the data about what am I looking at? Where did the sample come from?
Yeah, context. This is going to give you data. The sample form gives you context. And when you put that together, it paints a really powerful picture of what's going on. So we actually have in front of us the report from this year's version of the Engine Performance Expo LS. So
that's our report card.
This is our report card. So we definitely made more boost. We made more power. We won't tell you those numbers now. You got to stay tuned and keep watching to get
dangling the carrot.
Well, you have to. So
master of the tease. This guy is amazing.
But what's really kind of cool to see is that we made a lot more runs this year. And as we went along, these are a lot of the naturally aspirated runs, and we see we made more runs with more power. And we saw things coming along that, obviously the high water mark is going to be break-in. That's where we're going to see the most amount of wear. So that kind of gives a reference point of what we're looking at. So, but that was obviously NA. When you run an engine on boost, you're loading it more. We're seeing more stuff going on. So
one of the things I like what you got going on here, Lake, is not only do you have all that data that you're talking about, but you have the historical data as a trend here as well. And you can look at the dates. It goes, well, this was... sorry, I'm backwards here. So this was 11/11, this was 11/12, then it was in March, and then it was March 1st, March 3rd. Every time you ran the engine, you did a sample.
Right.
So now you've got this trend analysis. So you might look at this and go, okay, my number of iron is 35. Well, is 35 good or bad? Well, I don't know. Let's see what it had been doing.
That's the key.
Pretty cool.
The trend analysis is going to give you that real clear picture. Like this last time we ran it, well, the copper was at 17. Okay, but that's really not bad because we can see that with the trend, that's right in line. Knowing we made more runs under more load, that's actually telling you right in line. And of course, with more boost, we put more fuel through it. So we're seeing that iron. Of course, that little higher level of iron right there at 35 parts per million with boost compared to the 28 naturally aspirated tells me we needed more RVK on the surface finish.
So now it's sort of post-mortem analysis, if you will, of all this effort that I spent with my hone trying to get the perfect texture. How do I know that was right? Was it right because my buddy Ed Keebler or Lake told me it was right, or is it right because the data shows me it was right?
Well, what's great about this, it tells me there's opportunity to be better.
Sure.
Right? It runs good. It runs great, actually.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So, but there's more room to improve this on the table, and this is telling us we can tweak it and we can tune it. One great thing is we know the viscosity of the oil is actually correct for the application because we can look at all the bearing materials and we're totally good.
We're not using up that stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, which is really good to know, right? They looked great last time. We're not seeing anything of that. The additive package is good. The viscosity is good. The fuel dilution is actually really quite good for what we're doing. So we have the right fuel. We've got a good tune-up. All those things are working. So that's what's really great about this. Like you said, report card or health check, whatever you want to call it, we can know.
And you have shared in the past that this is something it might seem new to people out there who are just like putting together a project, but the highest levels of motorsports and Formula One in particular, this is something that is happening on a regular basis over the course of a race weekend.
Yeah,
this is technology that is kind of being disseminated through anybody who wants it now, thanks to what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
That was part of the formula of success at the highest levels of racing.
Well, sorry, I mean to cut you up there, but you think about some of this feels like to those of us in the motorsport industry, like this cutting edge, leading edge technology, but really it's been around forever. What's happened is various companies like SPEEDdiagnostix have brought it to a level of now we can all access it. So the regular engine builder, hobbyist, guy, all the way up through the professionals motorsports, now it's accessible. So now there's more tools available than you used to have. I mean, used to be you took the engine apart and you went, I don't know, seems all right, put it back together and try again.
Yeah.
Now it's literally like having your report card from X-ray from the engine. I think it's super cool.
Yeah, and like you said, Formula One, they literally have a mobile lab that goes to the racetrack, and they have people that do the analysis at the racetrack. This same trend analysis Ben's talking about, they do it. In fact, they know what each part of the engine's made out of.
Wild.
And
so like for us, where it's like dyno days, right? For them, it's like, oh, that was qualifying, and this was, middle of the race.
Right.
Like, that's wild.
And they're using that data to make a decision whether or not that gearbox should be changed, that engine should be changed. Is it worth the grid penalty?
Wow.
Let's do it. I mean, that's what they're doing. They're doing it all the time. And like I said, the real origin of it, like I said, it sounds new and fancy. But it really goes back to World War II. It goes back to aviation. Aviation is where this all began, and then it evolved from there.
They needed to make sure that airplane was going to make it all the way across the ocean, right, and land on the other side. So this kind of stuff was really important.
Yeah,
at least to the pilot.
Right. And now we've like you said, we've made it easy. You know, with SPEEDdiagnostix, it's a kit you can buy that comes with everything. So it's prepaid. I mean, you've got a mailer to send the thing back to the lab. It's got the instruction sheets. It comes with the sample bottle. You get your report. You get all this information, but you also get these other 2 pages of the report that explain everything on there. So if you're new to it, it's
you don't
not,
have to be a lab technician to understand this and get value out of it.
No, I mean, I always say that, you know, if you can navigate a stoplight, you can use one of these reports because everything's color-coded. But then you've got all of these things. And the other last piece of this information is, so SPEEDdiagnostix is now partnered with Total Seal so that you can actually purchase these kits from Total Seal. You can
Again, making it more accessible. That's super awesome.
Exactly. And, you know, I think about all the people out there, whether you're a bracket racer, you just go out and make laps. If you're a drag and drive guy, you're going on these long trips, right? You come back. Is everything okay? How do we know? Well, you can run a diagnostic test. Absolutely amazing. Well, I think it's great. I love learning more about it each time. And for those of you out there, go to the web, find out more information. And we keep rolling along. We got a lot of people out there watching on YouTube. Our next video coming up, a little more about making horsepower as we delve into some cylinder heads and things like that. So let's throw it to the next video and keep on trucking here at the Engine Performance Expo. What a day, what a day, what a day. My brain is swollen. I've learned so much today. They told us, don't start cars. We are not going to listen.